Well, good evening, everyone. On behalf of Danielle's mother, my wife, Laurie, Nate's parents, Ernie and Dinah, I'd like to welcome you to this very special celebration and to thank you for sharing this moment with us. The marriage of our daughter, Danielle, and her new husband, now our son, Nate. We're truly blessed that you're here with us today, that you've joined us. I'll try to make it through this as best I can. I know Danielle, if you know Danielle, she wants to get straight through the dinner and dancing, so I'm going to keep this. I'm going to talk fast, try to get through this as quick as I can, and hold it together while I share a few thoughts. And just a warning, if you're sitting down, she's going to come and find you because she wants everybody out on the dance floor. Nate and Danielle, you have friends and family here from, I count, at least 9 different states. To celebrate with you tonight, from the east coast of Virginia, from New Jersey, Georgia, North Carolina, Indiana, the great state of Texas, and Colorado, and all the way from California. But as we sit here in the heart of Buckeye Nation, in the heart of Ohio, and for those of us here representing Buckeye Nation, please join me in welcoming our out-of-state guests with the OH. Ohio! OH. Ohio! Perfect. Go blue. Where's security? You know, this is not the first time Danielle and Nate have celebrated their wedding reception. Back in January, we had a special party at Summa Hospital Hospice Center for Danielle's grandfather, Patsy. Thanks to my brilliant daughter-in-law, Kristen, and Nate even came home from Texas, made the trip back from his clinical to be with us. If you get a chance, check out the photo on the board up front. And I'd like to take this moment to remember Nate's grandparents, Bill, Beverly, and Nora, and Patsy, who are not with us here anymore in person, but they're definitely present tonight and always will be in spirit. We miss you, Patsy. Your baby looks beautiful tonight, doesn't she? And your man, Nate, handsome as ever. Most of you know that I've been a police officer for almost 31 years now, and police officers share a special sense of humor amongst each other, and we certainly qualify as overprotective fathers. If you just ask the people sitting at table 20, which, you know, I get asked, do you watch, true crime? Do you listen to podcasts? Do you do this? Well, I don't, because I work with some of the best investigative talent in the country that are sitting back there, but they're also my closest friends. And so when Danielle was born and she's growing up, I was told several times, I hate to be the boy who dates Danielle. You're going to be that father who sits at the table cleaning his gun, asking a million questions, and probably making a few threats. And I guess I figured they'd be right. I did expect to be this overbearing, protective father, and Danielle will probably tell you I was like that at times. But I had an interesting conversation this week with my neighbor Adam, who's here with his wife Christy and their children Donald and Ariana, about overprotective fathers. And I know it's just not me. If you've ever been a father, you know what it's like to love your children and to want the best for them and to protect them. So to all the fathers out there that have been where I have been tonight or are going to be, I wish you the very best Happy Father's Day for this Father's Day weekend. Well, and I guess I mentioned I wasn't going to be this, I thought I was going to be like that until Danielle brought Nate home for the first time. And one firm handshake and direct eye contact erased all my fears. And after watching them together the past few years, I can tell you that Nate is a true man of God and a man that I'm blessed to have as my son-in-law. Danielle, the relationship we have as daughter and father and daughter is one of the best blessings of my life. And it is a gift a Father's Day gift you've been giving me for 25 years now. And I cherish it to the bottom of my heart. Even though a lot of it was formed through countless kettlebell workouts, flipping a tire uphill 90-degree heat, dry heaving after doing the beat tests, sprints up Metro Park Hill, and endless kicks of the soccer ball back and forth. You made me in much better shape, but you've also made me a much better man. I don't know how many daughters would pick their father as a workout partner. I don't like to socialize, I don't like to talk. I just want to get it and work hard, and she was always pushing me the whole way. You know, I mentioned my coworkers, they like to joke, among many things, about me that I'm actually a true fan of this boy band called One Direction that was hot a few years ago. Well, Danielle and I took her to the concert in Pittsburgh a few years ago, which had to be better than watching the Steelers play. Sorry, Gene and Rich. And I'm sure the Taylor Swift concert last night was also better than that. But, guys, the only reason I ever heard of One Direction in the first place is that this is what Danielle and I listened to on the long drives to and from soccer practice. Times that I cherish because we spent this time talking about everything. Most had little or nothing to do with soccer, and times that went by way too fast. Danielle, you've given your mom and I a million reasons to be proud over the years for overcoming your fears and showing tremendous courage in everything that you do, never backing down from the challenges you faced, and overcoming this unrealistic self-doubt you've always had about yourself, and I don't know why. From the first time you were handpicked to be on this club soccer team, you wouldn't get out of the car your first game, I don't know if you remember, and then we finally got you out and you were the best player on the field. And then you went to high school and you wanted to quit soccer after the first day, and in a couple weeks you were a varsity starter as a freshman. And then you had doubts about going to nursing school, but through hard work and perseverance, you didn't know if you could make it, but you did so well. And I'm not even mentioning all the injuries you went through doing this with ACL. She actually did a clinical with her leg covered in a brace because she had a torn ACL, but I'll get to the ACL later. But what I'm proud about the most, Danielle, is that the light of Christ shines bright in you from the way you've always been a great friend to everyone and the love and compassion that you've always shown to others. And I have 1,000 examples of this, but last year you coached those inner city soccer kids who no one wanted to coach in their own organization. No one came to their games. You were there at every practice. You worked with them. You went to the worst neighborhood in Akron to pick up these kids and give them a ride because nobody else would come to the games. I don't know what else you could do besides being a nurse. The feedback that you got from the patients, the doctors, and the other nurses you work with, you truly bring your faith to work. And that's what I love about you so much, is that you truly bring your faith to your job. When Danielle tore her first ACL, she was just finishing up her junior year. It was a spring, and it was actually prom day, and she was going to a prom with a senior, and she had a soccer game that day, and there was only about 2 or 3 minutes left in the game. She jumped up to head a ball because she's always going 1,000 miles an hour, and came down, and it was like somebody shot her, and she collapsed. And Derek and I kind of knew at the time, because there was that pop, that she had a torn ACL, and the only thing Danielle was worried about was not about her injury or about whether she can play or not. It was about disappointing this guy, not being able to go to prom. So what did she do? She sucked it up. We gave her a couple of painkillers. But she sucked it up, and she went to prom with that guy with a torn ACL that she had torn 8 hours earlier. While she was rehabbing the ACL, I remember riding up in the elevator with her to take her to children's sports medicine, and there was a boy next to us who was in a wheelchair with his dad. And we kind of didn't say anything, and then on the drive home, you know, I know she had been kind of bummed about what happened to her and that she couldn't play, but she goes, "Dad, you know, that kid just wants to walk. I'm gonna be fine." And Danielle, I want to thank you for showing me how selfish I was and teaching me a lesson, showing me the love of Christ, and you reminded me of it when I needed it. And I see that this is the one thing that Danielle and Nate have in common. You know, people talk about being righteous and being saved all the time, and they'll actually get in your face where you're just trying to walk into a football game. But in the book of James, chapter 2, verse 18, he says, "Demonstrate your faith to me without works, and I'll demonstrate my faith to you from our works." And that's what you and Nate both do, and that's what I love about one of the things I love about your relationship. One of my favorite songs is Neil Young's Heart of Gold. It's always been my favorite. He sings about searching for it, but Danielle, you've always had it from the time you were born. I know you'll always have it in your marriage and the rest of your life. Your mom and I will always love you with everything we have, and you're going to be a great wife. You know, I know it's a cliche. You always hear at these weddings, the fathers always say that you'll always be my little girl. Of course you're always going to be my little girl, but you're always going to be my best friend. So speaking of torn ACLs, Danielle had 3 of them, not 1, not 2, but 3, 2 different legs. And this is actually how Nate and Danielle met at the PT center during her rehab. And she had to literally go through a lot of pain to meet her husband. And I know she would go through it all again if she met a guy like Nate. And Nate, I knew this was real when you stayed with Danielle, even after you tried to covertly drop off a gift bag to her at the house during her exam week, only to be chased off and followed by the police. Well, sort of. I'll let him tell that story. I didn't have anything to do with it. Spending time with you over the last few years and seeing you with Danielle has only convinced us that you are an amazing young man, full of compassion and confidence, and like Danielle, you shine with the light of Christ. The perseverance and discipline we saw through you in school and studying, as hard as you have, has truly been an inspiration to me personally. You know, I know Danielle had to be patient. There were many times you couldn't go out on dates, but I know you were studying. I'm like, man, that is incredible. I think why Lori and I love you so much is your humility and kindness, and most important, the love and caring that you've shown for Danielle. Ernie and Dinah, I know you're so proud of him as we are. We're truly blessed that he came into Danielle's life. However, that could change if you keep stomping me on the golf course, but these guys know, Jim and Steve know that that's not a hard thing to do now. Nate and Danielle, another thing I've enjoyed about Nate and Danielle's relationship is watching them together and how much they laugh and always have fun teasing each other all the time. And my prayer is that this lasts throughout your marriage. But we all know that there will be many days of joy, but also tough times. Father Mike talked about this earlier. And I said to my son Derek and his wife Kristen when they got married in December of 2020 that some of the best advice I ever got in my life came from my father Larry. And he said, there will be good days and there will be bad days. And to me that just sums up life, and it's also biblical. During those down times, remember what Torrin Wells sings in one of my favorite Christian songs is there will be joy in the morning. Turn towards each other and rely on each other in those tough times. You know, we heard during the ceremony that favorite passage from Paul's first letter to the Corinthians, chapter 13, verse 4 through 8. And Laurie and I actually have this hanging in our house. Love is patient, love is kind, it's not jealous, it's not pompous, it's not self-inflated, it's not rude, it does not seek its own interest, it's not quick-tempered, it does not brood over injury, it does not rejoice over wrongdoing, but rejoices with truth. It bears all things, hopes all things, endures all things, and love never fails. And I think if you would ask Paul to add something to that, he said, oh yeah, love is unconditional. And that's basically what he's saying, is it's unconditional. And guys, that's what these rings mean. It's unconditional. And I can tell you without a doubt that there's one person here tonight that knows exactly what unconditional means after 30 years of marriage, and that's my wife, Laurie, Danielle's mother. Laurie, thank you for being a wonderful mother to our son and daughter and putting up with me all these years. Here's to many, many more evenings sitting on our patio with our drinks, waiting for the deer and the birds, listening to Bruno Mars, the Commodores' Mercy Me, Torrin Wells, and yes, even some Barry Manilow. I know it's a strange combination, and no more leaving Ohio State games early. We should have never kicked off to Saquon Barkley, right? Danielle and Nate, another one of my favorite passages comes from the Gospel of Matthew, verse 18, chapter 21 and 22. And I think at this time the apostles were probably being human, getting on each other's nerves. So Peter asked Jesus, Lord, if my brother sins against me, how often must I forgive him? You know, maybe 7 times? I could see Jesus rolling his eyes and say, no, dude, 70 times 7. And Danielle and Nate, always remember how much you love each other, even in these tough times. And above all, laugh with each other. No matter what happens, remember this line from Zach Williams' song, one of my favorite. It might feel like Friday, but your Sunday's coming. Those of us who have just finished celebrating the Easter season know exactly what this means. One of the things I noticed early in Danielle and Nate's relationship is they share in common is their closeness and love they share with their siblings. Nate with his sisters Anna and Hallie, brothers Tim, Jordan, and David. As much as Danielle has talked about you, I feel like I know you already. She is so excited about joining your family and becoming your sister, and especially about being an aunt. She specifically mentioned how she likes cows. I don't know what that's all about, and I truly believe she was about excited to marry Nate, or to become part of your family as she was to marry Nate. Derek, Mom and I are so blessed. Your relationship with Danielle brings us so much joy. You're a role model. You've been a wonderful brother to her, always there for her, supporting her, even when you're out of the country. You always make her laugh with your one-liners, and I know when something happens, you'll be there to take care of her. I saw it firsthand when you guys were drifting out to sea after your kayak flipped over. He literally got you back to shore. Kristen, I know ever since you and Derek started dating in high school, Danielle's thought of you as her big sister. So many times you've helped her, supported her, so many memories with both of you. You've only grown closer over the years. And Derek and Kristen, I really want you to realize how important this sibling relationship is to parents like Laura and I. A true blessing and comfort for the future, no matter what happens. Thank you. Nate and Danielle, as you can see, my own sisters and brothers are here tonight with you. This is the first time that we have been together in years, and they chose my daughter's wedding to be here tonight to celebrate with me. A shout out to my mother, Barbara. Even though we live in different states, I love them as I ever have and still cherish the memories of being their little brother. Kathy, with you when he took me to the Massillon for my first Massillon game with your rowdy friends, and I was cheering and yelling until Massillon kicked that field goal. Jeff and Rita, Mom, I flicked the day at Roswell, Kent so they can take me to Cedar Point. Took me to the Journey concert, cruising in your many cars. Jeff, Eric, you driving me to endless Coliseum games with the Cavaliers, to the Browns games and Mom's Pinto zigzagging out of traffic. You took me to my first concert, Electric Light Orchestra Yellow at the Coliseum, which 40 years later I celebrated to the day, taking my own son to the same concert. Mark and Shauna, who you've been more like a big brother and big sister rather than an aunt and uncle to Danielle. Thank you for special love and support, and most of all, making her laugh ever since she was a little girl. Chris and Stacy Safel. Little did we know that when our kids started preschool together at St. Matthew, did we realize at the time that they would be getting amazing friends in Jackie and Evan, but that Lori and I would be connected to two of the greatest people on this planet, Chris and Stacy, friends who've literally been there with us through good times and bad times. Thank you for being Danielle's second parents, and I told Chris yesterday if I couldn't be here to walk Danielle the aisle, Chris, you would be doing it for me. You have just as many stories of Danielle as we do. I can't say enough about what great people you are. Here's to many more nights out at Johnny J's, where I know as bad as our days have been, we're always going to end up laughing. Grandma Barb and Grammy, I don't think a girl could ever have two more loving, incredible grandmothers. And how lucky is she to experience your love and support during good times and in bad times. Mom, the countless times you've been there for her, traveled many times on the sidelines, even in bad weather. Dolly, your endless love and comforting words to your favorite grandchild. Zane, Caden, Derek, Gavin, you can take out there later. The best part of it is that she generally thinks of both of you as her friends. To Sammy, Jackie, Sarah, Izzy, Kristen, and the rest of the bridal party, I told Sammy this early in the week, you make her laugh. You've always made her laugh, and you've always brought out the best in her, so thank you for being a part of this. Stacy, Denise Thompson, Kristen, the amazing bridal shower you've thrown, and you three of you are saints. To Jeannie, you've been a sister to Lori and a good example for Danielle over the years. I'm wrapping up. To Father Mike, a living patron saint of the Whiddon family, thank you so much for your support over the years. Nate and Danielle, you can see I'm big on this thing with relationships. I'm ending up with this theme on relationships because I've learned that they're the most important thing, the biggest part of life, the source of true happiness with God, His Son Jesus, and to each other. My prayer to you is that your marriage will be one blessed on faith and true love for each other. Danielle, and Nate, please take a look at these tables out here tonight, because at every table sit some incredible people that love you so much. So I know there's a lot of gifts that they've given you, but the greatest gift they give you is that they're here tonight celebrating this with you. You've received many generous gifts from them, but please take advantage of their relationship and talk to them, because it is like gold. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of my beautiful wife, Lori, the mother of the bride, Lori and Nate's parents, Ernie and Dinah, would you please honor me in joining me in the first toast of the night to Mr. and Mrs. Nate Bergan.
Okay, wow, this is so exciting. I just cannot agree enough with what Dave shared, and what a privilege, even sitting in the church and looking up at the front of the church and seeing all these beautiful young people lined up, and thinking how you all have so much of your lives left, to make decisions and choices and invest in people and commit your lives to the Lord. And I'm like, wow, what a cool representation of friendship and study history and work history and sports. And so I feel like it's such a privilege just to come up here and share. I must have started this speech over so many different times, because how do you convey all your love to your son and your new daughter-in-law? But I'm gonna try, and it's just exciting to be here tonight. So to my dearest Nathaniel James Bergan, to many, we call you Nate, and also growing up we would call you Nene and Nabo. How grateful I am that God gave you to our family. We weren't supposed to be able to have kids, but God surprised us and answered the prayers of family and friends. And you're number 3 miracle of our 4 miracles in our family. I love being your mom, Nathaniel. I'm thankful for you, I'm proud of you, and I'm excited for you. When I would rock you to sleep at night as a baby, I would pray over each of you, and I prayed. And I would pray over your friendships and over your health and over your integrity and your walk with the Lord. And I would pray over some anonymous little girl that I wondered who God would bring into your life one day. And today, it is such a thrill to see that your life has joined with Danielle's. And now I get to realize that that little girl that I was praying for without a name, we now know and love as Danielle Whiddon. So yay. Love you. Danielle, our family loves you and your family so much, and it's meant more and more each time we get to spend time with you and your family. And I watch Nate as he lights up when you come, and as he looks forward to meeting up with you. And I have so many different memories where I would just know he was getting ready to meet up with you. There's just something in the air, of course, getting extra fresh and sharp for his girl. It's just sweet, sweet things to observe. And Danielle, I just love how I see you tease with Nathaniel and just give each other a hard time, and it's just like you have built such a sweet friendship together. That's like the foundation of your love, and then it just blossomed. And so it's just been such a privilege to get to see this develop and then celebrate today with you. Nathaniel, one word that described you growing up was go. You were ready for action and adventure. You shot acorns with your homemade slingshot from James. You rode your bike. You climbed our big front tree in the yard. You played with your lightsaber. You played with Grandpa's tire swing. You slept in your sneakers that lit up, because why would you take those off, right? You slept in your Batman t-shirt, and when Tim was born, you could not understand why it was taking so long for him to get up and start running with you. But then time flew, and in a blink of an eye, you guys were play buddies, and you were playing hide and seek with Anna and Hallie and Timothy growing up. You've always had a big heart, Nathaniel. One afternoon, I had laid down and was fighting a pretty bad headache, and you came by my bed, and you took your little hand. You were not much older than 2 years old. You took your little hand, and you rubbed my forehead, and you said, "Good mommy, you good mommy." And I remember that tender-heartedness. It felt like an angel. It just came and refreshed my heart, as a tired mom. In high school, I saw you show determination and discipline. You chose to focus your energy and training in shot put and discus. You were so consistent, and you loved the challenge, and you put so much effort into excelling until one day you qualified for the privilege of competing at state. We were so proud of you. You were discerning and seeing that it could be smart to maybe focus on one main thing and get really good at that than to spread your energy so far among different interests. Nathaniel, your honesty and your transparency is so refreshing. You mix truth with kindness so that you put reality into your thoughts while you're expressing your compassion. That's kind of a wordy sentence, but you know, all that to say is like he can say some hard stuff, but he says it with love and kindness. And so you just realize that there's just such a good heart behind the things that you would share. And I just appreciate that so much, your respect to me as your mom. That's going to be a heartwarming strength, and it will show so much care as you are going into this marriage with Danielle. You have so much to look forward to in this life. You have so much every day. I just agree with every single thing you said, Dave, that every morning you wake up and you can thank the Lord for something always, and especially looking across at your bride and just the miracle of God bringing her into your life and you being in his life. Start every day with thankfulness. Your courage and your ambition have inspired me and others. I'm closing up, okay, so hang in there. So you've made your mark in different areas. I want to repeat that. Your courage and ambition have inspired me and others. You have made your mark in different jobs, saving your money and keeping your eyes on your PT schooling. You didn't let the cost or the orientation speeches that were intimidating keep you from heading that direction. Instead, you decided that you were going to be part of that low percentage that they said would get accepted into grad school. You went for it. I'm so proud of you. On May 13th, you graduated from Mount Union, and you conquered that and reached that one dream. And today, you've reached another dream of marrying this young lady that we love so much. Nate, I love you. And I love when you tease and you joke around, and when you make faces, when you change your voice. Your life has given so much sheer laughter and joy, and that is such an important part of life and relationships. Always recognize that your influence and strength of being positive and a problem solver is so essential in your relationship. God has already used your hopefulness and your perseverance, and he will continue to use that in your relationship with Danielle. There will always be hurdles and struggles, but there will also be joys and heartwarming times and simple pleasures, so take advantage of enjoying those simple, sweet pleasures. Nathaniel and Danielle, commit your ways to the Lord, and your plans will be established. The eyes of the Lord move to and fro throughout the whole earth, seeking those whose hearts are completely his, that he may show himself faithful on their behalf. Where does our help come from? King David says, I look to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth. There's a song that's called Reckless Love by Corey Asbury. And one of the chorus lines, it says, oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. I don't deserve it, I couldn't earn it, still you gave yourself away. There's no shadow you won't light up, no mountain you won't climb up. There's no wall you won't kick down, there's no lie you won't tear down, coming after me with his reckless love. And I thought, that reckless love is what I know you're gonna model as you love Danielle. As you protect that love and your relationship, and as you just pursue the very best of life for each other, and pursuing God's love. I love y'all so much. Happy wedding day.
Okay, I'm not as good as articulating words as these other two are, so I did have some help from ChatGPT, just letting you know. So it sounds a little, posh, that's them. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, and most importantly, the beautiful bride, Danielle, or as I like to call her, my home slice, and our newly wedded husband, Nathaniel. Today I stand before you as the proud maid of honor, filled with great joy and gratitude, sharing this beautiful celebration of love. As I reflect upon our journey together, from our high school days to this magical moment, I am reminded of the remarkable bond we have forged over the past decade. Danielle is not just a loyal friend. She is the epitome of kindness, compassion, and faithfulness. From the moment we met, it was clear that our friendship was destined for greatness. We've laughed together, cried together, and stood by each other through the highs and lows of life. One of the incredible things about Danielle is her unwavering support. She's been a pillar of strength in my life, especially during my own medical struggles. Through the toughest times, we would hop in her car, blasting 21 Pilots through the speakers, working on our own personal therapy sessions. There's something magical about the power of music, and our car rides became a haven where laughter and song healed our hearts. One common thread that has tied us together is our shared love for the Winchester brothers. From the beloved show, Supernatural, countless hours spent debating plot lines, swooning over the characters, and immersing ourselves in that mysterious world. But it wasn't just fictional characters that touched our hearts. Our shared love for animals brought us even closer together. The sight of a furry friend on the side of the road would immediately bring tears to our eyes. I'll never forget the time Danielle claimed she ran over a frog. Even though we couldn't see any evidence of it, we both cried as if we lost a best friend. Our compassion for all creatures, no matter how small, is a testament to the kindness that radiates from Danielle's heart. Today, as Danielle embarks on this beautiful journey of marriage with Nathaniel, I have no doubt their love will be as deep and boundless as the love she has shown me over the years. Just as she has been there for me through the thick and thin, I know she will be a devoted partner to Nathaniel. Danielle, you are not only a loving friend, but also an inspiration to others. Your kind-heartedness and unwavering faithfulness make you shine brightly in the lives of people you touch. As you enter this new chapter, I wish you a marriage filled with love, dogs, laughter, and the same unwavering support you have given me. Let us all raise a glass to toast the incredible couple standing before us. May your marriage be a reflection of the love and joy that you bring to others. Congratulations to you and Nathaniel on this special day. Cheers to friendship and a lifetime of happiness.
It's going to be hard to top that. All right, Nate, I couldn't memorize this, so I'm just going to read it off. But Hi, how's everyone doing tonight? My name is Tim. I'm the best man. But more importantly, I'm Nate's younger brother. I have been looking forward to this day for a long time. I was told to write a speech today, and I kept thinking about what I wanted to say, but it's really hard to sum up 23 years of memories and brotherhood in a short speech. I just hope this scratches the surface of how grateful I am for you. Let's see. Looking back, I remember when Nate told me, "Bro, I think I'm gonna have to marry Danielle." Seeing how happy Danielle made Nathaniel, I wasn't surprised. Danielle fit in perfectly, and when we would all hang out, she put up with our crazy family. Nate knew from the very beginning he wanted to marry this girl, and he has always been sure of what he wanted in life. He has never doubted himself in the things he does, and I have always looked up to and tried to follow him in his footsteps. Going back to when we were kids, my relationship with my brother has always been good. We would always be outside playing basketball, riding bikes, running around the yard with lightsabers, half naked, pretending we were Jedi, staying up late, playing video games. And growing up, maturing has made us a lot closer. The bond that we have, getting to live with you the last few months has been the biggest gift from God. I never thought living off frozen pizza and Polar Pops would be such a blessing. It has always been a great time laughing together, watching Gordon Ramsay insult people's raw cooking. We're going out for late night walks, having conversations about life. Overcoming challenges together, we went through many big changes, such as moving across the states from Texas to Ohio. This and many other tests of life has made all of us kids closer than ever. I will always cherish the time we have had, the memories we have made, and what's next in this chapter in life. Many qualities I have seen throughout Nathaniel's life will carry him to great success as a husband. Having an older brother wasn't something I knew I needed, but God did. Nathaniel, you're a one-of-a-kind guy. I feel like everyone here can go back and think of a moment or a conversation they have had with you where they have been impacted by you or have really seen the value of their lives because of you, and I love you for that. You really care about others, and you're a natural leader. Seeing how passionate you are in the things you do in life is something I strive for. You now have the gift of helping people every day, being a physical therapist. I know God will use you in great ways to help so many people. I just hope you'll give me mini back massages in the future. Some other great qualities you have are always being trustworthy, reliable, and sincere. You have a great sense of humor, and you always know how to make everyone laugh. I truly am blessed to have a rock-solid friendship with you. Danielle. From the first day I met you, I always knew I would like you. You always brought a positive mood when you walked in the room with your smiles. You are patient and quick to listen. Your dance moves are 10 out of 10. I hope to see them tonight. And your famous party trick was being able to say the alphabet backwards has always impressed me. You are intentional, and not just with the people you know and love, but with the people you barely even know. You always go the extra mile. The heart that you have for other people is amazing. Seeing how happy you make each other is a gift. Something I love about you is that you always laugh at my bad jokes while Nate just calls me an idiot. I am so excited to have you join the family. You are beautiful inside and out. And since you're officially a Bergan, my newest sister, as the youngest, I look forward to blaming all things on you. Danielle, you are smart, caring, and you really bring out the best in my brother. I know you guys will make a great team. Let's all raise a glass for the beautiful bride and groom.
Hi. I promise we're almost done, so please stick with me here. I promise I'll be short. All right, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jackie, and I've known Danielle and her family for more than 20 years. Lori and Dave are like second parents to me. Everything Dave said about my parents, Chris and Stacy, I can say the same thing about them. They've done so much for me, and I know they'd do anything for me. And Danielle is like the closest thing to a sister I have. Derek's the second brother to me. I love your entire family. I feel honored to be an honorary Whiddon. We've gone through every stage of life together, St. Matthew, St. Vincent, St. Mary, Kent State, where we had fun times living together. It's surreal to be standing up here speaking at your wedding. I feel like it wasn't that long ago that we were making blanket forts in your basement, or playing soccer on the Titans, or playing CYO basketball with our dads, Chris and Dave, as coaches. Life moves fast, but I'm glad to have had you by my side for every step of it. I could tell a lot of stories about Danielle, but that would take all night, so I'll just tell you one. It starts in 2008 in 4th grade, and please stick with me here. This gets a little dark, but I promise there's a point, and it's okay. So please stick with me, though. Danielle's beloved dog, Indy, and my grandfather passed away on the same day. And those were both very sad events in our lives. I remember walking into school and seeing Danielle in the hallway, and we both just burst into tears and hugged each other. And that's like such a core memory in my life. Well, anyway, this started kind of a long-running sick joke that Danielle and I have, where when one of us experiences something bad, the other one is bound to experience something bad too. So it would be like Danielle broke her wrist, and then the next week I twisted my ankle. Danielle would get sick, and so would I. This went on for years. We both had leg surgery around the same time. We actually even had the same leg surgeon. Both had a gallbladder surgery. You get the point. We are bonded through our trauma. I remember coming home in college. I remember one day she came home in college, and she's like, "Jackie, I think I tore my ACL again." And my heart sank because it was heartbreaking. I'd seen her go through that multiple times before, and I knew what that meant. And I remember trying to lighten the mood by saying, "Well, I hope nothing bad happens to me now." You know, very selfish. But I'm not really sure the joke landed at the time.
But I'd like to point out that nothing bad ever did happen to me around that time, and I think I have a theory on why. For those of you who don't know, like Dave mentioned, Danielle met Nate when she was going to physical therapy for her injury. So Nate, I think you broke our curse. So I'd like to thank you, very selfishly. I think you broke our curse. My point is, bad things happen all the time, but so do beautiful things. I'm so happy that you have both found each other. You never think anyone is going to be good enough for your best friend. I never thought anyone was going to be good enough for Danielle. I didn't think anyone deserved her. Nate, you proved me wrong. You are so funny and smart and kind, and I love the way that you love her. Whether you believe in fate or curses or whatever, it doesn't matter, because your love is so real. Nate, you're stuck with me now. I can't wait to experience life with both of you. I'm so excited for you and all that's to come. I love you both. Congratulations. Please raise a glass to the bride and groom.
Hi, everybody. So first off, thank you, Nate and Danielle, for putting me at last. I'll try to make this quick. Hopefully you still have some left in your glass for the last cheers. But my name's Matt, and Nate's been one of my best friends for as long as I can remember. I'm fortunate and grateful to stand here today to give this speech in honor of two incredible people, Nate and Danielle. I first became friends with Nate in middle school. He sat in front of me in class and asked me for a piece of paper. The rest was history, but actually, we were in English class, so I'll continue. I have a couple of stories I'd like to share of Nate. It was difficult for me to pick what I wanted to share, as I'm sure we all have countless funny stories with him. Nate's an innovator, one of the most creative people I've met, and ahead of his time, some might say. In speech class, we had to come up with a product to sell. Nate's idea was to sell a Google Pencil. Similar to artificial intelligence, you could ask this pencil anything and it would have the answer. The mode he used to sell it was by impersonating Barack Obama. It was one of the greatest, yet strangest, Obama impressions I've ever heard. If you haven't heard him do this before, you're missing out. Nate's always cracking jokes. Growing up, there were plenty of prank calls and other mischievous pranks we'd do. This only carried on later into Nate's life. When he'd visit me in college, we went to bars, and he'd ask people the most absurd questions. He'd say something like, "Hey, have you seen the moon?" He'd then talk gibberish and proceed to stare them down, leaving his victims both dumbfounded and terrified. That same night, he woke up around 3 a.m. after drinking, slightly hungover, and goes to the fridge to get some water. Only Nate didn't choose water. He went for the chocolate milk. Keep in mind, this is essentially a frat house, and the fridge hadn't been cleaned all semester. Nate gleefully takes a big gulp of milk, only to realize it's spoiled rotten. My friends were shocked and could say they've never met anyone like that, in a good way. My last story is when we were in high school. We played this game on the trampoline called Dead Man. The premise was you had to close your eyes and tag people with your foot instead of your hand. I was it, and after a few minutes of not tagging anyone, I jumped in the air as high as I could, rotated my body parallel to the ground while cocking my knees to my chest. I may have opened my eyes slightly, a cheap trick indeed. However, at this moment I saw Nate standing right in front of me. The timing was too good to pass up this opportunity. I kicked both legs and nailed Nate square in the chest. This sent him flying off the trampoline, and he landed folded in half with his back against the pool and his heels still on the trampoline. Nate was furious. However, he sucked it up and continued the game. This has been a constant theme in Nate's life. He's never quit, and he's always pushed himself to accomplish his goals. He's the hardest worker I know. Everything he puts his mind to, he accomplishes. He has our high school record for shot put, where he also went to states for shot put, and even got his doctor's degree in physical therapy recently. He has pushed through all of life's obstacles with a sheer grit that inspires everyone around him. The only person who has matched this energy has been his beautiful wife, Danielle. I remember vividly during COVID, she worked countless hours as a nurse, night shifts, and selflessly put others ahead of herself. This is a key trait that Nate and Danielle both possess. They are a great reminder to us all to live selflessly, put in a full day's work, and enjoy the people you're with in all of life's moments. I know this will continue throughout their marriage, and I'm excited for the days to come for both of them. I'm truly blessed to call Nate my best friend, and I'd like everyone to raise their glass to Nate and Danielle, two people that we are all fortunate to know. Cheers to you both. I'm excited for the future and the many years you'll spend together. Thank you.
All right, let's pray. And Jesus, thank you so much for this time to come together and celebrate Nathaniel and Danielle. We love them so much as individuals and are super excited for them as they come together and start their marriage. Thank you for everyone here for bringing us safely. I pray that you would help us to just enjoy this evening, connecting and getting to know the people around us and celebrating Nathaniel and Danielle. We love you in Jesus' name. Amen.